It is Reverse Polarity episode 6. I'm your boy High Five Vega. I'm joined by the man who never sleeps, aka the foreman of flush cutting, the one who knocks. He is the one who knocks. What's up, Dean?
Okay, I don't. Okay, what's the one who knocks?
Did you ever watch Breaking Bad?
No, it's the only.
Ah.
No, I know,
Dude.
and because I've been accused of looking like the guy many times.
That's why I come up with it.
Yeah, I'm like It's one of those things where you got to go back and you got to watch, and you're like,
Yeah.
and then you got to watch Better Call Saul. And it's
What
like,
happened now is like it's been so overhyped that when you watch it, you're sure to be disappointed.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I'm at
Yeah.
in a lot of these things. It's like that and okay, 8 episodes, perfect. Like you give me a season with 8 episodes, 10 maybe. You give me 8, I can get that done Saturday night through Sunday, and I'm out. I don't have to think about that anymore. Like right now, I'm watching The Boys season 2.
Oh man, I'm all caught up. Yeah,
it's got to be the sickest show on TV.
It is, man.
And I'm just drawn to it like a moth to a flame. And every time I watch it, I go, "Why am I watching this so bad?" It's like squish your head in, and we're gonna show it all. It's like, I don't need that image. I don't need that image.
Well, I mean, when he pushes the kid off the roof, I'm like, oh, he's dead.
Yeah, superpowers. Yeah, my bad.
So what headphones are you wearing today? We got.
Oh, you're dying to know because you're like, I feel like Princess Leia. Hell yeah,
they're the big ones, man. You got the buns.
So these are the Monobar Heights Monolith 560s or 580s, something like that. So it's another planar. But what makes these things cool is they have these wood panels.
Oh.
And if you want them closed back, you pop that on. And if you want them open back, they have little arrows. You put your finger in there, you pop it off, and now you have open back.
Nice.
So I got these. These are like one of the first pairs of headphones I got. Now, why they look so weird is you have to do an immediate mod. And these are Sony pads. So I think like when you go to Amazon and even put these in to buy them, like accessories are these Sony pads. So you have to peel off the Monolith pads and then you double side tape on the Sony pads and it changes the whole tonality of them. Plus, these pads are so flippin' soft. This is what I edit in. So this
are those the ones off the MRV, the like really popular Sony pads or headphones?
Yes. So these are my everydayers. So this is the pair that I use every single night when I'm editing. This is what I look like. So if you've ever seen like the girls take selfies of me sitting there, I have these. I got my braces on. I got my brace thing, my braces. But I can wear these things for hours on end, and they don't hurt. And plus, with the girls, I put these on there so that they can't hear what I'm listening to because they just look at me and go. You're like, oh, for God's sakes.
They hear you talk enough. They don't need to hear it through your headphones.
I mean, we won't even go there.
Well, I'm wearing a car audio shirt tonight. Do you know what that is?
Straight clipping.
Yeah.
That's freaking cool. Who's that from?
That's Kyle Rutherford.
Okay. Yep. I need to get one of those. Does he sell those on like Teesprings or something?
Yeah, I think it's baseheadtees.com.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah.
Okay, I know who that is.
Yep.
Oh, okay. I gotta get one. That looks freaking cool. I'm gonna get one of them.
I brought a prop as well.
Oh, Jesus, you went and got one.
Get him in focus. No, I already had this. I didn't have
really.
This. My daughter had this. Yes.
And look at him. He's smiling. How fake is that?
Look at these little claws. Jeez, dude. You and Haley have no souls.
There's my Yoda right there in the top.
Yeah. You got real Yoda.
That's Lego Yoda right there.
No one's going to debate real Yoda.
Yeah, that's as good as I'm going to get there. That's funny. That is funny.
All right, man. You know what we're talking about tonight? I told you like 2 minutes ago.
Yeah. No, I'm cool with that. But did you do a poll this week?
No, dude. I forgot the poll. I'm slipping, man. I'm slipping tonight.
I blame it on last night. Because last night totally screwed everything up.
Yeah.
Because we went on with Kip and Big D and did that whole thing. That's why I'm wearing my kicker shirt today, so that all you guys know that if you didn't watch last night's show, that I apparently didn't make the album artwork for. It's okay. I don't mind. I'm not bitter or anything like that. You know, but a big ass picture of Kip.
Yeah. It's Kip and Derek's fault.
Oh yeah,
basically.
It's okay. It's okay. That's all right. We'll have more fun without him.
That's why we didn't have no poll this week. But I'm gonna have one for next week. I might even start it a week early.
We could just throw Haley's poll up. Didn't you guys like golf?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Golf sucks.
Yeah, I liked golf when I was okay at it, but I dislocated my shoulder and I've been terrible ever since. So.
She told me you made that comment. I was like, yeah, no. I mean, I really enjoy Top Golf. Like, I didn't think I would. I first did it with Kicker. We went out there and we did Top Golf, and I had a blast. I was like, oh, this is freaking awesome. And it was funny is our rep, Lori. Oh my God, she's like a freaking pro. She's out there I'm like, I'm not on your team. Forget this, man. I don't want to be anything on your team, because, you're good. I suck. I want all the drags, man. I had, he was talking about Aaron. I had Aaron on my team, and I had John Myers, and we just, we all sucked and had a great time. It was wonderful.
Yeah. That's the best time. When it's like, all right, I suck. Let's just go on with it.
Yeah. And then last time we were there, they're like, we're going to go throw axes. And I go, what else do we have to do? And, my buddy Joe there was like, we're going to go play volleyball. I go, I'm going to go do that. You guys have fun. I'm not throwing it. I mean, dude, I don't have this motion in my shoulder does not work. And if you
and they're like throwing them with both hands. They're doing that.
Oh yeah. I got to work like the next day. So no, that's why I don't bowl. Cause like I've dislocated both of these and they're hanging on by a thread. So
yeah. Oh, I know on one side.
Yeah. I'm good.
Common car audio mistakes, man. That's what we're talking about tonight. I'm sure you see it every single day of your life.
Not at all. Not at all. Actually, I had one good one today. So this was priceless.
Start off with that, man. I got to start off with that.
Okay. This is a fun one. So you're aware of those little amplified subwoofer enclosures, right? The little cool things that have like an 8, 10, 12, 6.5, whatever. They're made out of aluminum or plastic. And they just show them conveniently sliding them under seats, hook up power ground signal, and they're going to make bass. And that's a big freaking lie. They don't work that way. They have to be coupled to the car. Like, so you have to bolt them in so that like you could literally grab them and do this and the car should move. If you don't do that, they don't work. Because they're basically like those Aura bass shakers, and they rely on shaking the car a little bit. So this guy comes in, and he had 2 Rockville versions of them, and he originally first had them underneath the seats, and then he took them out from under the seats and he put them behind the seats, and they were just sitting there. And I was like, those aren't going to work. He's like, oh, it's okay. I'm in, we were going to do real subwoofers. I don't even know why I was showing them to me at that point. But where it got fun was he started to install them. And he had one CCA 10 gauge run back into a distribution block that had 2 15 amp fuses in it. It was a big 4-pole.
Yeah.
And then he had the grounds coming down into underneath the seat in the Jeep. I'm sorry, it was the Gladiator. They have this plastic tray underneath the seat. He pulled out 2 of the bolts and screwed them down so the grounds were sitting on the plastic. And I'm like,
and it turned them on?
No, I don't think he ever turned them on because he was. I don't even know why he did it, because I was just looking at him going, "You're literally having us put subs in today. Why are you even screwing with this?" Yeah. He's like, "What? It'll work." And I go, "Maybe."
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, for a couple minutes. I mean, yeah. So grounding. So there's 2 things there. One, these things have to be fastened to your car. You have to bolt them in place. You have to make brackets. You have to spend some time, and then they will work. And 2, seat bolts are not ground points. And if you ground to a seat frame, that's not a ground point either. It's not. So stop doing that. Stop like pulling that 1 bolt out. No, don't do that. Don't ground to your seat. Please stop. The ground planes in these cars suck enough, and then you're just sucking big ones on that. So, anyways, what do you got?
That's right into my first thing was improper / weak grounds. It is a problem. It's a very a lot of people just want to use a self tapper. That's
go for it, bro.
Yeah, it's like
Find the gas tank. Go fire away.
You can get away. The thing is, you can get away sometimes with the weaker end popper ground, but you might get mystery problems, and you're like, hey,
Yeah.
why is this doing this? So, Kip said he's like, what'd he say on the show? He said there's never time to do it right, but there's always time to go back and fix it.
Oh yeah. Oh, for sure. I mean, no question about it. The funny thing about the self tapper is, or I like the drywall screw personally. I mean, if you're gonna do it wrong, go for the damn drywall screw. But I love that meme where it shows, like the one self tapper, and then it shows like 100 plowed into there. And so that would be really funny to like you guys, but for someone that's actually seen that done by an employee, you're like,
oh no.
Okay. Now, so there is and I think Amp even sells them. There is a ground ring terminal that has 3 holes in it. They call it their Expert. It's made by a guy named Earl. They're called Earl terminals. And the idea behind it is that you have this nice big, like 1-inch ground plane, and it takes 3 self-tapping screws. So I like to, there's nothing wrong with it. It's like the best of the worst. Like if you're, and he will argue with you till like immensely. He's a great guy, nice guy from Louisiana. He has that Louisiana accent. I keep waiting to go, choo, choo, the alligator, choo. Stereotyping, I'm sorry. But the idea behind it is it's like, look, if you're going to suck at this, at least use this and get a nice flat ground plane. So if you were to sand away that whole square where this terminal goes down and then put 3 self-tappers in there, you will have a good ground. There's no question about it. You will have a really good ground, and it will stick to the car, and you have 3 screws. It's a big piece of metal, and it'll be a good ground plane. It's not arguable. It's like that will work. It's just, and like we use the Positive Ground Kit, which comes with the giant bolts. We showed them on the show, and it has the really nice cleaning bit, the metal brush. So it has 3 pieces to it. It has a tapered drill bit that it drills the hole, and then and the reason why it drills the hole is so that you have the circular sanding bit. It's got a little pin in it, which lines up with the hole, so you get a perfectly round OCD circle. And then you put your ring terminal on it. You come with their big 1/4-inch self-tapping bolts. Or self-threading. Let me correct that. They're self-threading bolts, and they have these giant double-sided teethed washers, star washers. So when you put this thing in a car, and it comes with the nut, it's like locking into a seat, man. It's like, oh, this thing ain't going nowhere. And then they come with bolts so that if you can get to the back side of it, you can put a bolt on it. They're god-awful expensive, but they're the best. By far the best.
What's your quick and cheap recommendation for somebody then if they need to find a ground in their car? Something that kind of everybody can go by.
Side panels, man. Side panels. Side panels or to the far extremes of the floor. Because you're going to have some kind of frameage going underneath. And it depends on the car. Obviously, because certain cars have brake lines that go underneath the cars. Sometimes they go up the center. Sometimes they go up the middle. Like a Honda, brake lines go right up the center of the car. I always laugh when people bolt their amps underneath their seats. And it's like, ooh, damn, the ice was thin on that one, guys. You look underneath and you're like, that's plastic because there's brake lines there. Let's hope you didn't get one. Anyways, so yeah, like the side areas are really nice. Usually too, like if you pull out a back seat and you look there's usually like holes like to get to the access to the gas tank, and you can like stickers, and you can kind of peel stuff back and see like, do I have room underneath there? Is that going to be a good ground plane? Or is that going to be a good place to do a ground? And there again, there's nothing wrong with a self tapper. It's just the size of what you're trying to do. Dude, 30 years. Okay. 30 years. I can bags of self-tappers. Okay. Self-tappers, crimp caps, T-taps. Oh yeah. We've used T-taps before. I mean, Jesus, 30 years, guys. Back in the 90s, is T-tap away. I'm going to put this alarm in 5 minutes. Timing. Magical.
There you go, man.
You know, it's like not every employer feels the way about the install as the employee does. You know, when you're sitting there and you got 6 cars to get out of the bay,
Yeah.
you know, and they're charging by the minute as far as like how quickly you can turn this around so you can get a paycheck at the end of the week, which I think is totally wrong. You know, it's what is that you can get it good, fast, or cheap? One of you know.
Yeah, Hoffman's Iron Law.
Yes.
You got to pick 2.
Yeah, yeah. So in our industry, unfortunately, a lot of the times it's the wrong 2.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's in a lot of industries, I would say.
Yeah,
Nowadays, we're looking for the cheap out. This is a pretty good question by Tony.
Okay.
The DD-1 on Brazilian amps. You think it's accurate? I've never used one on a Brazilian amp.
I have.
Did it work? Or?
Yes, it worked fine.
Oh, it
Sound Digital now has those built into the amplifiers, though, so you don't even have to worry about it.
Yeah,
like
a lot of amps. I like that. A lot of amps come with that, man. That's
like
a lifesaver, man.
It's the best.
Yeah,
I mean, I feel bad for Steve, but it's
Steve's got plenty of other irons in the fire.
Oh yeah. He's definitely, he's okay. But no, like if you watch the video we just did on so the reason why he's asking that, and this is important, is that a lot of the Brazilian amplifiers, it's not a gain. Okay. The gain is up. You're literally controlling, it is a volume knob. So there is no gain. The gain's fixed and you're controlling the output volume. So that's one of those things with some of the Brazilian amplifiers that is a caveat that we're so used to American amplifiers where they actually have a gain pot and whatnot. But in some of those amplifiers, there is no gain pot. It's literally a volume knob that when you turn it up, it gets louder. When you turn it down, it doesn't. So, yeah. I could see
checkmate, guys. It says a gain knob's not a volume knob.
Yeah. So if it is clipping here, you're just turning it up to clip more. The other thing too is that a lot of the Brazilian amplifiers don't have like 5, 6, 10 volts of input. There are 4. There are 4 volt, and if you'll notice too, a lot of them are rated at 12.6 and not at 13.3. Because the batteries that they use over there suck. So, and that's the thing. Trust me, I've found out more about Brazilian amplifiers when we partnered up with Sound Digital. I did it on purpose because I wanted to dig as deep, and yeah, I know, right? I wanted to dig as deep into this as possible because it's one of those questions we get all the time. I have it on authority other than Sound Digital that when it comes to the Brazilian amplifiers, okay, this is long before we got into those. Like when I started researching them and finding out if we wanted to even be partners with them or work with them or do anything with them, I was like, I went to my engineering friends that I know that work at different companies. And I'm like, so, that'll be brutally honest with me. And I feel that's what you need. Because if I'm going to be brutally honest with you, and, so you look really stupid in that hat, you could say the same thing back to me and go, you look really stupid in those shoes. And I'll be like, yeah, I know, but I like them. And they were like, listen, those are the best made Brazilian amplifiers, period. Like everyone else wishes they could be as good as they are. And I was like, all right, that's good enough for me. So, but yeah, it's Brazilian amps. The whole story, like we were talking about the kicker trip that we did, and I would love when all this nonsense is over to go to Brazil and do a documentary at their facility because it has to be obscenely cool. Like just talking with those guys and learning about it and all the back end stuff and the owner of the company and the engineering and all. I know I'm rattling. I'm sorry. I would love to do that. That's like as soon as we can go, I want to go.
Yeah, man. It's a totally different culture down there, and people kind of associate full bridge with Brazilian amps, and we've talked about this in the past. But Kicker's been using full bridge amps for a long time. Matt's uses full bridge amps. Many of companies are doing full bridge amps. There's a difference. Oh, super sticker. Appreciate it, Brandon.
Super sticker.
All right, man. I got another one for you.
Hit it.
Team No Views. Have you seen this on the internets or in person?
It's a thing?
Yes, it's a real thing.
Wow. I didn't realize that was a thing.
Yeah. They think that they don't want let me say I got to deadpan this.
Okay.
They don't want a weak link in their power line.
All right, so because I hate dead air, I'm gonna go down a rat hole real quick. When you're using a quality amplifier manufacturer, all right, and you know the sticker brand names, call them what you want. These are guys that have money to research and build amplifiers. They hire real engineers. They build stuff. They do research. You know, they knock it out of the park. And they put in circuitry into their amplifiers that is designed to shut an amplifier down if anything bad happens. Okay, they decided that I'm not going to put fuses on the side of the amplifier. I'm going to build a stopgap into it that's electronic that's going to do the job for me. I put my faith in that, all right? And I was like, they have all this technology to do this. So when we do two of them in pairs, why would I need a distribution block fuse holder? Because they are safe.
Yeah.
Well, and naturally the fun of being on the internet is everyone, you know, is a shade tree. You know, like, I've been installing for a minute and I know everything. It's like, okay, cool. Like, I've been installing before you were born. All right, let it go. Not saying I know everything. I don't. But, and this was a case where I was like, you know what? I'm really tired of hearing this. Like, yeah. It's like, you don't even understand the technology that's in this. So there again, I went to the engineers that build these amplifiers because I can do that, which is cool. And I said, all right, let's talk. I went to a couple different manufacturers that we deal with. And I said, let's talk. You build this circuit XYZ. And this is what it's designed to do. Yes. Okay. If this scenario is like this, what happens? They're like, well, 99.9999% of the time, this is going to work. And I said, all right, what about that 0.00001% chance? And they're like, well, there is that chance it might not work. And I go, okay. So if you say there's a chance, though thin and like has never happened, it's possible, then I should run a fuse distribution block because there is a snowball's chance in hell that this might happen. And they're like, well, I mean, if you put it that way, I mean, we're confident that ours, but there is that 0.00, you know, it's like lambskin versus rubber, or latex, or whatever the hell it is. You got that chance.
Yeah.
I got one kid.
You're saying there's a chance.
You're saying there's a chance. I love that. Yeah.
But this is what they're doing. They're not putting a fuse
under the hood.
Battery. Yeah, under the hood.
Hey, you know, that's why they make fire extinguishers.
I mean, guess so. That's why I got a fire extinguisher in my car, but I also got a fuse. So
I think we talked about this the other day. I don't remember because it's all a blur. When people buy power distribution kits and they don't put the fuse underneath the battery, they put it in the trunk next to the amplifier, and they'll bring the car in and they'll be like, you know, they'll have their ground going to a seat bolt, and then they'll be like, I can't get my amp to turn on. And it's like, what do you have the remote turn on hooked up to? And they're like, what wire is that? It's the middle one. You know, that's just like running somewhere. Like, well, when I tap it to the red wire, it turns on. What did you say?
There you go. I'm about to back up.
She's not needed by Dean because he wires like a boss. Exactly. How dare you? So yeah, we'll get these cars in, and then you just look at it and you go, you do know that fuse is supposed to go underneath the hood, and they'll be like, well, don't you need one back by the amp? No. Okay, let me paint the scenario for you. The wire that you ran through the boot that you pulled out of the firewall to run it through, because you didn't poke through the boot, you just ran it through the boot, and then you pull the boot back in. So now that thin ass wire is tucked between the boot and the metal. So when that wears out in about, I don't know, 3 weeks, your car catches on fire and burns to the ground. Oh, really?
Good time.
I know, man. Is your insurance up to date? Hopefully you have like full coverage in this car.
And hopefully they don't see this.
I don't care. I mean, at this point, really.
Yeah.
You know who you are. I mean, hey, look, we've all done it. We've all done it. How do you think we know? I mean, let's be honest. I mean, I'm not immune to any of this. I mean, when I started and I had, like we were talking about 280GX, my favorite amplifier, I know aluminum foil works. Okay. I know that, you know. Yeah. And I found out about ohm loads too. I honestly didn't know what 4 ohm, 2 ohm mono meant. I found out the hard way. You know, it's self-taught. You know,
I've run power wire through a door jamb one time, and then my buddy was like, "What the f are you doing with your life?"
Yeah,
And I'm like,
yeah.
oh, you're not supposed to do it like this?
No, dude, I love it when they run it through the door jam. So they come through the fender and then they poke a hole into the boot and they come through the boot, but they'll run loom over it like it's professional. Like, oh, I put loom over it and I came through. It's a hole. It's in the car.
Through the boot,
And I'll be like,
yeah.
not gonna argue with that. Good
Pretty,
job.
it looks pretty professional to me.
Only
Scott's trying to
fuse
burn
on my
down his
vet.
vet. God, don't burn down your vet, man.
Oh my gosh. So vet story, because who doesn't have one of those? So years ago, and there again, this was, years ago, we have this vet come in. We're putting a stereo in it. And we're like, vets are fun because vets are like boats. Everything's fiberglass. So it's like, hey, where's the ground? I don't know. And anyway, so we're working on this vet and like, dude, the amps, it's like bad things are happening. And we're like, every time the radio would play for a second, cut off, you pull the RCAs on the radio, the amp would shut off. And you're like, what the hell's going on? And this was one of those learning moments early in my career when I found out that the signal is a ground plane and that the ground plane, this is why Pioneer puts those fuses on the ground plane for the signal.
Pico fuses, the ones that go out.
This is why Pioneer does that. For this car, this purpose, the amplifiers were pulling the ground through the signal. Luckily, it was a Kenwood or a Clarion, one of those two. It was pulling the current through the RCAs, through the ground. So the whole ground was relied on that little 18 gauge behind the dash. Even though the amplifiers were going to metal, because we had cut a hole and found the metal and attached it to it in the Corvette. Yeah. And we're like, what the hell? So as it turns out, we find out because eventually, the car had been in an accident and had been cut in half, and two Corvettes were brought together to make one.
Oh,
so when they welded it together, they didn't weld it together. They used putty. They bonded it together. No. So the rear of the car and the front of the car were not connected.
Even at the frame? They didn't weld the frame?
No. They bonded it.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah. So simple
so
solution.
Just melted. You grounded in front of the.
No, we ran a power wire. We ran a ground wire up to the battery. Yeah. Magically, everything was solved. And to help him out, we ran actually the ground wire to our point where we grounded the amplifier, so that the rear of the car would have a ground plane, because he couldn't figure out why his lights in the back would always kind of go dim, and not be real bright. And it was like, why didn't you mention that? Hey, I've been having some electrical problems, because that was like a whole day trying to figure this thing out. And then it was like, so needless to say, 25 years later, guess what Corvettes get? Power and ground.
Yeah, just like a boat. They're a boat.
Oh, yeah, all the way to the battery. Thank God they have marine wire now. Oh, love it.
I have two comments. The first one is a meme that I seen on Facebook where the guy's like, I've been sanding on this vet for 2 weeks and I still haven't got to bare metal. The second one is those freaking Pioneer Pico fuses are a menace to society, man.
But I like the memes they create.
Yes.
Because you talk about a Mexican phone pole. When you see that guy that has wrapped around, and I'm not gonna lie, I've done that. I've done that.
Yeah.
I've done that.
I've done that. I've got one that in the Trooper right now. It's like that.
Oh, dude, you want to talk about just no slow motion as the installer's like, what? That looked really bad. What? As he's plugging it into the back of the radio, and you're going, no, turn it off. And then, oh, do I have noise? You blew the fuse. No, the fuse is fine. Wrong fuse. Wrong fuse. There's no metal frame on a C6. This was an old. Like I said, this was old. This was old. This is 25 years ago. It'd be like a C4, whatever. I'm not a Corvette guy. It was the older one. It was the much older one.
All right, the next one.
Yeah, all good.
I don't know where you lie on this. We'll see. Not securing enclosures.
I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with it. Yeah,
I don't in most cases. Some cases, maybe.
So here's the thing. We've all been stuck on the side of the road before, all right, with a flat tire. And if you haven't, you play the lottery. Okay, God has touched you. Because the rest of us have been on the side of the road or had to go find someone on the side of the road. And that guy, that stereo guy, because he's on the side of the road, and what's behind his car? his 215s.
Yeah.
Okay, that he had to shimmy out of his car. One of the questions we always ask people when we put, not always, but when we're going to put a big box in there, we go, all right, you know that this box is heavy and it's going to sit on top of your spare tire. Do you have a problem with that? And the answer is always the same. Bro, no, man. No, I don't care. I got AAA. What does that mean? You're going to have a friend come help you pull your subwoofer box? It's not like they're going to have a magical spare tire on the tow truck. So now what we do is, like, certain situations, the box has to be mounted. Like, you get in certain cars, you just look at it and go, this box is going to be smacking the back of the car because he's a speed racer. So we've come, and the problem is if you bolt it in with metal, the metal will always break. Always break. It never fails. I don't care what you do, unless you're welding a rod across the bar, the metal will always break. So what we figured out is that if we take the floorboard and we put a board across the floorboard so that the box has a stopper, so the box can move a little bit, it can shift, it can shimmy. It's not, it'll have some give.
Yeah,
it works. It doesn't rip the stopper out. There's no problems. The box doesn't fly around in the trunk. And to get it out, you just go,
yeah.
So
3/4 of an inch up and over.
Yeah, and it's perfect. So we'll do that, upon request. But a lot of the times it's like they, and the other thing too is a lot of people ask, can I have extra wire? And I go, well, we charge by the foot. I go, no, relax. I'll give you as much wire as you want. You can set the box on the truck and do double judge if you want. I don't care. I'd rather make it 20 feet and you go, it's too long, and I cut it short, than make it 5 feet and you go, could you make it an inch longer? And I'll be like,
what do they want to do with the extra wire? Just
then move it around. So like if you put like a
for the subs.
Yeah, so if you put like a 112 or a downfire, or you have a hatchback or whatever it has, they want to be able to move the box around for groceries and luggage and all that stuff.
And
so
dBs to get the most dBs.
Yeah, no, they don't do that. There's none of that going on. That world is not our world. There's no one going, do you think if I flip the box around I can get 0.1 more decibels out of this?
It's not really my world either.
No.
There's
There's
people out there that are much more prepared for things like that than me.
Yeah, which is fine. It's like, and that's the nice thing about car audio is it's very wide, even though it's wide, even though it's not wide. It's a big group of people with different things going on. So and I love it, and because there's so much to talk about, and that's what's fun.
We're in a niche industry, and then we have niches within that niche.
Yeah.
And good time. Scott has come up with, I didn't have this down, but
oh my God.
This is, man, I didn't even think about this. This is 100% the truth.
So you want to ruin my day? Legit want to ruin my day? Pull in with one of those. So I kind of have a rule that never ever gets enforced, because it would require like dumb shit. Like walking out to the vehicle and going, oh wow, there's an aftermarket radio in here. Yeah, so sorry, too lazy. If it has an aftermarket radio in it, it's like, tell them, listen, there is a chance that your plug might be cut, and it's going to be an extra $50 or whatever the heck it is, because we will not install a radio into a car that has a cut plug. It's just not going to happen. We won't do it, because if there's any reason you need to swap out the radio or go from a Pioneer to a Kenwood or whatever you want to do, I got to cut the plug again. And then I just got to cut it and cut it and cut it. So we always will solder back in a new plug of some kind. Chances are good it's the second owner. He doesn't have their factory radio. He just wants a new radio. So if the plug is cut, if we have the factory plug, great. If we don't, then we have factory plugs. We'll just cut those, solder those in, and call it a day. But it's just so it's removable. The other thing too is if he totals his car tomorrow, he needs to be able to unplug it and take it out so he can put it in his new car that'll total the next week.
Yeah, or just cut the wires again. That's how it's done.
Just cut them all at the same time. Oh, dude, you want to talk about plug? I love it when they cut the plugs on harnesses that aren't part of the radio, like where you get like a Cadillac or something, or something that has a 2-piece radio.
Yeah.
Like this is the command center, and the tuner is like in the trunk, and they'll be in there and they'll cut the whole thing off and they'll bring it in and it'll just be like, this, and you'll be like, what are you doing? Oh man, I can't even find the constant 12 volts. It's back there. It's back there. Well, my boy said he knew what he was doing.
And go back home, bro.
My boy said he knew what he was doing.
That's how it always goes.
Or, oh my God, the best. I love this one. So Mercedes-Benz used to use vacuum lines.
Yeah.
Okay, so everything on that was you hear. So they would run vacuum lines throughout the whole car, and they were all yellow, and they were all like a 10 gauge size. All right, so you knew if you saw a yellow 10 gauge, leave it alone. Don't touch it. Don't do anything to it. It's not a power wire. It's not ground. It's a straw under vacuum. Dude, this guy comes in with an SL500. Oh yeah, SL500. He goes, I just had this radio installed, man, and nothing in my car works anymore. I said, what do you mean nothing works? He goes, locks don't work, top won't go up and down. All these problems. And I hear this weird noise coming out of the back, and I go, okay, no problem. Because at that point, like SL500s were all the rage with the ball players. Yeah. So like we were doing SL500s like F-150s. All right. I mean, there was a time where it was like SL500, SL5. I had that box down pat. Like I could build a box for an SL500 that would fit right into where, and it was like gorgeous and 6x9 pods and just leather and all that shit. And so the guy brings it in. And I go back there and I'm listening to this noise that he hears, and I'm hearing this. I'm like, they didn't probe one. They didn't probe two. They probed all of the vacuum lines in the back of this car. All of them had holes in them.
They didn't learn after the first one.
No. They kept going. This isn't power.
Man. This one only has air in it. Let's go.
They were just jamming their test probe into everything. And I'm like, so I called the guy. I said, listen, you're going to need to take your car to the dealership, and they're going to have to redo all your vacuum lines. And they're like, what? And I was like, yeah, they power probed every one of them looking for power. Your car is basically screwed up right now. And he's like, you're kidding. I'm going to have to sue him. I'm like, hey, do what you want. Leave me out of it.
Yeah, no kidding.
Good times. But yeah,
you did stumble across something. The $100,000 F-150 is the new Mercedes-Benz.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Man.
No doubt. Yeah. Well, I mean, the Raptor, like the Raptor video we did. That guy was a great guy, by the way. I love that guy. Was one of the funnest guys to deal with when we did the Voce system with all the that one with the 5.1 and the Duo and the Bit HD and the A to B. That guy was he was great. So we originally, when he came in, we were originally like, let's put it together a system. And he's like, I've been, I have all Macintosh home. And I was like, fair enough. We know where we're at. I said, how crazy do you want to get with this? He goes, it's a driver. I don't, I just want something better in the factory. So at the time, or even now, Audison makes the Forza system for that. So you get like a set of Prima speakers, a single 10 that goes under the seat. The amplifier goes in. It's like nice, simple system, real cool. Couple grand. It's like, I think it's like $2,500. It's a gorgeous system for the car for somebody that just wants to do a nice upgrade and have it sound really nice. And so that was the plan. So then he goes home and he starts doing research, and he comes back in and he's like, I was looking at that, and they make the Voce amplifiers. What do you think about a 5.1? I was like, yeah, we could do a 5.1. Yeah, I mean, that would work. It's a 5-channel. We can do this. We can do that. It's like, okay. All right. Well, let me think about it some more. So it was like this whole 3 or 4 week period where every week he'd come back and he would change it and he'd want more stuff. So I didn't sell him anything. He literally convinced. I said, look at Audison. And that was it, dude. He went down this rabbit hole. He comes in, he goes, all right, so here's what I want to do. I want to do Thesis 6.5s, Audison tweeters, Audison rear speakers. I want to do the 5.1 on the front stage. I want to do the Bit HD, not the Bit Nove. I want to do the Duo for the Thesis mid bass. What do you think? And I go, I mean, it sounds good to me. Hold on. So I called Lance Doss over there that works for Electromedia, and I said, hey, listen, I got this guy, and this is what he wants to do. What do you think? And he's like, literally just Literally just walk the guy through that same system in a Porsche. It's an amazing system. We recommend it all the time. Yes, by all means, do it. And I said, okay. Audison says it's a great combination. We'll do it. And so, a couple days later, and of course, I'm sitting there going, how the hell am I going to shoehorn these amplifiers that are this big behind the seat in F-150? Holy God. I mean, it literally took me all day just to make the amp rack for that thing. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. That was really cool. But the amount of money you spent on that truck, I mean, that stereo was like, and it was funny too, reading the comments where people like talking about how much it cost. And I'm like, you guys aren't even close. Like, do you not understand how Google works? Type in a set of thesis 6.5s and then get back to me, okay?
Yeah.
And they're like, why would you mount them like that? It's like, because we made that really gorgeous mount where we took like 1/2-inch PVC.
With the 5-star logo on it?
Yeah, and then
I remember that, yeah.
Yeah, it was like, it's a $3,000 set of speakers, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you not mount them like that? Like,
yeah,
if you're...
I haven't even looked at MSRP on that stuff, and in my head, I'm thinking like $15,000-$20,000.
Yeah, I mean, it's like... if you're going to use gold screws, that's when you use them. That's when you pull out the stuff and go, I've been saving this for the right occasion. Ta-da! Today's the day.
Yeah.
It's like,
spend all the money today. We're having fun.
It all makes sense now. Resilient gain controls. D. Nice. Yeah, exactly. I know, right?
All right. I got one. I got one
go.
for you. I know you've seen this.
No.
Loose wires in the amp. Like loose strands hanging out of the amp, touching the ground or the whatever it may be.
So have you ever been watching the show where we talk about loose grounds and we pull out Scar Audio? I think it's a 15.1, RP 15.1. It's either a 15.1 or a 2000.1.
I haven't seen that one.
So some guy, bought a RP amp and he so the ground literally was just banging around like this. And so the whole end of the whole power section is just, it is just cauliflower. It's burnt. It's dead. And I'm like, oh my God. So I called up Scar, my buddy that worked there at the time, Shane, who's been on our show before. And I said, Shane, I have this amplifier that you guys are going to warranty out. It's unrepairable because this is all burnt. Can I keep it? And he was like, let me ask Kevin and I'll let you know. He says, and then he called me back and they go, why? I said, because I want to use this as an example of what not to do. You need to tighten these things down, people. Use ferrules, use whatever, use real freaking wire. That's the other problem with CCA. When you go to tighten down CCA with one of those nuts, it just cuts the wire.
Yeah.
And then once it's exposed to oxygen, and have you ever seen the aluminum wire when it just turns to dust?
Yeah.
Has yours done that yet?
No. We'll know exactly how long it takes.
Oh my gosh, dude! When it gets wet inside, and you can literally just take it and do this, and it's like cocaine. Not that I know what that's like, but I don't.
He's only been paid in it for an install. He didn't buy it himself, folks.
Who can I sell this to? I want the money.
They just gave it to him. Okay.
I was like, hey man, boom. No, it's kind of not my speed. I got that too. What's Mr. William Berg got going on? Another thing, I had 6x9s thrown up on the back window, the door panel cut, without tin snips and drywall screws holding the speakers into the holes. Drywall screws are the best. And if we're going to finish that thought, the thing that absolutely drives me up the wall, even though I've done it before, and there again, because 30 years, is when you take those plastic speakers and you just cut out the basket of the magnet and all that crap, and you destroy the speakers so you can have the mounting bracket.
Yeah,
I hate that.
I see people do that all the time.
Guilty of it. I've done it before. I mean, but no, I absolutely loathe it. And it's like, I didn't buy all these tools so we could ruin your speakers, man.
That's a pet peeve thing. I really don't like that either. I mean, just throw it up on the router and use it as a template to make something else.
Well, so one of the things that hold on, sorry. One of those things. I know I ran out of water, so I'm like, first I got 2 ways. One of those things that we get a lot of, like, oh, I can't believe you guys do this, is we cut the speaker harness. Okay. And the reason why I do that is because there again, 30 years, I've had bad experiences with speaker harnesses. They tend to suck. Okay.
Yeah.
Or they're wired backwards, or it's when you're putting in a $700, $800, $1,000, $2,000 pair of speakers, and the lowest common denominator is a $3.50 shitty factory harness adapter that is going to cause you a headache. No. I will make my own, and it'll be perfect, and it will work, and it'll last forever, and I will not have issues. Eat it. So that's one of those things that it's like we have one guy that every time I do that just always comments, always comments, always comments. It's like, I get it. That's okay. That's your world. Live in your world. This is my world. This is how we do it. But that's the only harness I'll cut in a car, okay? Unless I absolutely have to. Oh, and then since we're talking about harnesses, don't you love it when people will cut the radio harness off and they cut it flush with the plug?
Oh my
so
God!
you
I've
can
never
never reattach it. I got the plug right here. What do you want to do with that?
Hey, just depin it all and redo it.
Was that your toothbrush you've been using since you were 9? Oh my God, dude! Like you couldn't give me an inch? No, you had to cut it off flush. Stupid. Why?
Oh, that sounds like a good time.
Oh,
I can imagine the headache that comes in every now and again.
every now and again. Yeah. No,
All
I
right.
mean, yeah. Go.
All right. Next one, cheap line output converters.
So that wasn't a thing. Okay, so here, all right. Funny thing. A cheap line out resistor is. I'm sorry, a cheap line out converter is 4 resistors. All right. 4 load resistors are what make a cheap line out converter. Then we have high end line output converters like a pack, or like something that's a transformer based. All right.
LC2 and
so not the audio control. We're going to keep that in their own category because that is a smart line output converter that does it electronically and actually through electricity brings the signal down and creates a much cleaner signal. That's called what is coming in is coming out just at a lower volume. Whereas transformers and resistors choke the signal down and then will spit it out. So where the funny part is we've all decided that we needed to switch to transformer based because people are stupid and we need to just switch to those. And I'm sorry. But with transformer based, you can do summing. So this is to solve the problem where someone would take like a left signal, a right signal, and then put Y jacks on it and then plug it into an amplifier and it would blow up the factory radio. And you'd be like, why did you do that? I was making it mono. No, you weren't. That's not how that works. But when you use a transformer, you can do that because the power on the other side won't work. So consequently, if you have a transformer based high level to low level, like a 4-channel, and you have a car that has a set of tweeters and a set of mid range, you can put the tweeters into 1 and 2, the mid range into 3 and 4, put a set of Y jacks on it, and use the volume pods on them to sum them together and mix. So that's something that a lot of people just never understood that you could do with them, but it was great. So it was like the cheapest version of like an LC7i. You could take 3 line output converters and do the same thing. And that's also why the LC7i exists. We have Jeff Smith to thank for that. That was one of the conversations that he will tell you. He had a conversation, audio controls, like, why are you doing that? And that was kind of the thought of what led to the LC7i was him taking 3, and this is his story, by the way. So if it's not true, I really don't care. I'm going to believe it because it was fun and it's Jeff and we're great friends. So he would take 3 transformer-based line output converters in these big advanced cars that have, long before Amp Pros and AR existed and all that other fun stuff, and dial it all together. And long before I met Jeff, I learned that trick from John Myers at Kicker because they had done a Cadillac and put their big 4-channel in it, and I had just done that Cadillac and done power for power, which is where you take for every channel of the amplifier, you put an aftermarket channel in. So if there's a 10-channel amp, you put 10 channels of amplification in there. Both of them work and get you to the same point. The difference is I was like, how did you take 10 channels and get them into 4? And he's like, well, use these. And I was like, okay. Because remember, the internet didn't exist back then.
Yeah.
And so then it was, okay, what is doing this that's different than what we're using? Transformers. And then it was like, figure out what transformers are and then go, oh, okay, so this is why you can do that because a transformer is kind of like acting like a resistor and not letting the power go back the other direction and blowing up my amplifier. Whereas a resistive base is that doesn't happen. Now, here's the funny part, because if that wasn't funny enough, we have to put load resistors on cars now. A load resistor is a resistor. Okay.
Yeah.
You see where I'm going with this?
Yeah. Come
So
full
so we're all like, oh, we need a 30 ohm resistor, or we need this resistor, we need this resistor. So Jeff and I are in the install bay the other day. This was like last year sometime, and I had just gotten we had just done a Lexus where someone took a cheap high level to low level adapter, 15 watts of input, had 4 resistors in it, and hooked it up in the back of a Lexus to the factory subwoofer on the whatever the premium sound system is in that. Needless to say, his car was going to burn to the ground very shortly because the plastic all around it was gone and the plastic in the car was melted. And you could literally pop the trunk, look in the corner of the car where they have their little plastic panels, and see the load resistor. I was like, dude, we need to fix this immediately. And it got an LC2i, and problem solved. So he and I are sitting there looking at it, and I'm laughing because he finally dawns on him what I'm laughing about. And he's like, what? And he goes, dude, this is stupid. And I go, what? He goes, we were using load resistors all along. Now we use these stupid transformers, and we got to put load resistors in front of them. Oh my God, how dumb is this? And I go, right? Finally, for us, it was hilarious because, I get it. This is what we do. So it's not the funniest thing in the world. But for us, we're going, this is hilarious. It's coming full circle. We got to put resistors and transformers in now, or just buy an audio control, which is electronic with resistors. It's like, oh man, so dumb.
Why do we keep running in circles?
Oh my gosh. And he's laughing because they're over there because they were having a hard time trying to figure out what they were going to do for resistors. And he's just like, oh my God, we sell them. And I was like,
yes.
I know, right? Crab
Scott's got a good one for you.
See, now that's where that's funny because if you didn't see the Sound Digital amplifier video we did, on the Sound Digital 404, it uses a three-pole input. So you have positive, negative, and then the middle is the positive, negative for both. And that blew our minds. Like we were just like, what the hell? And I called one of my engineer friends, and he explained it to me, and I go, I have no idea what you just said. And what's funny though is that I have a Sherwood 280 on the wall, and the Sherwood 280 is the exact same way.
Is it?
So this is nothing new. They've literally been doing input stages like that since the freaking 80s. So,
and I never knew about that until Derek showed me an amp
and
explained it, and I was like, okay, that's
it works.
Yeah, it works,
and it sounds phenomenal. The guy that puts the subwoofer face down on a box, traces it out on the wood, and
oh Lord, that'd be a classic. I've never seen that.
Well, my first box that I built, so one of my first jobs is I worked for Procter & Gamble. That's where I kind of learned marketing and stuff like that, which I've mentioned before. But it was my buddy's dad. And so he would always get shipments of Procter & Gamble stuff. So there's cardboard galore in this guy's garage. And so I needed to build my first subwoofer box. I think it was like a set of JSE8s, Jet Sound Electronics. Yeah. And I cut up my desk because I figured I was not going to be using my computer anymore. Because when I say computer, it was like an Atari computer, like an 800 or like we're talking back like Commodore 64 time. And so I was like, I'm not going to be using this anymore. I found car stereo. So we cut my desk up and we didn't have enough wood. So we took duct tape and pamper boxes and used that to finish the box off. I was like, this sounds dope. Put some carpet on it. We're all set. And we're not going to glue it. We're going to friggin' sit there and staple it with a friggin' paper stapler, bro.
Classic. You got that bass reflex going off the box.
Oh, yeah, who knew, man? It was it was like an electrostatic membrane. It was just breathing.
Technically, you're ahead of your time.
Oh, totally. Yeah, there was me and Richard Clark.
Yeah. So we're getting near the end of our hour. I have other things, but I want to finish with this.
Yes, go.
Number one car audio mistake: using CCA wire.
You're just trying to redeem yourself because no one got the joke.
Yeah, no one got the joke. But this joke's been going on for a year now or better before I even made the video. But I don't know if you guys know, but I put the CCA wire in my car to show you what it does over time.
Bad idea. Yeah. Oh no. Hey, and to be honest with you, if you go back 10 years ago when that stuff first hit the market, unless you were into home wiring and knew what the home industry had just gone through with aluminum power wire, we really didn't understand. Like, no one came out and said, hey, this is bad. What was happening is the price of copper was going through the roof. And these wire manufacturers that just lost their ass in home, because home was like, we can't put this in the houses anymore. That's against code. They had to do something. So they went to all these, there again, this is how it played out for us anyways. These speaker wire company or these power wire companies were like, hey, we have this 70-30 mix of aluminum and copper, and we could sell you at this price, which is what we used to pay for 4-gauge. And it was like, what's the difference? It's just cheaper. And it wasn't. It just got us back to the price we were used to paying for 4-gauge. And we're like, yeah, let's do it. And eventually it was like, you got anything cheaper? We can do 100%. Let's do that. And then you're just putting it in and you're not thinking about it. And then all of a sudden, these cars start to come back and you're like, well, what the hell's going on? And then you're calling them up and you're like, hey, why is this? And then you find out that like, oh no, like the home industry banned this stuff. You can't use it anymore because they were having problems with it. It doesn't handle power the same way. And it was like, oh my God, and then you're just thinking, oh, great. Now, the funny part is, obviously there's people that don't care because it still sells like wildfire.
Oh yeah.
I mean, whatever. And you get the guys arguing for it. There's nothing wrong with it. It's good stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Go for it.
I mean, yeah.
Whatever works for you, bro.
I tried to make a joke about it. No one got it.
Guardrails are not for your safety. They're so that you can try to walk across them and balance. It's a generic balancing beam. So pay no attention to the cliff on the other side of the guardrail. Just balance beam across them. And if you're a Gymkhana guy, jump. Yeah.
Your wire might disappear.
It might. It will. Dude, I love it when I see old CCA wire and the guy goes, I don't know what happened, man. It stopped working. And you go out there and you're like, you just take the wire and you go. And then you start cutting it. There's like the first inch, nothing. The second inch, nothing. By about 5 inches into it, you're like, hey, I found clean wire again. You're going to need a new power wire. Oh.
I wonder how long it's going to take because it's been like 4 months now. I'm going to check like every 6 months. The bad part's when I got to pull that wire out and rerun it.
So did you put like shrink wrap over the ends and all that fun stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's why it's not going to happen. You got to do it like they would do it. They would do it with just a ring terminal, no shrink wrap, no nothing, so that the air can get into it. You've sealed the end. Yeah. You took a crappy situation and shined it. So it's going to take a lot longer.
I didn't put ferrules. I was like, I'm not going to put ferrules because I want to rip the CCA to make sure that if something's going to happen, it happens. So we'll know sooner or later.
I'm waiting for that day. That'll be a good video. That'll be good. Look, guys, I was wrong. And that's what you should say. I was wrong.
I was wrong.
I thought for sure this would be good stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Oh, my goodness. All right, we got a few minutes. Let's just start with this.
Okay, go.
You probably haven't, or finished with this. You probably hadn't dealt with this much, but people buying big amps before upgrading their electrical system. Now, big, I mean 5,000 watt amps, 3,000 watt amps, and above.
We'll get those guys that'll come in that'll have an amp that's 5 times too big. We call them skateboards. They'll come in with skateboards and they'll be like, I want to put this skateboard in my car. And we'll be like, there's physics, just put it wherever you want. I'm like, no, there's no place to put it. And then we have to have that round and round debate where it's like, you literally can't fit this in your car. Okay. Unless we're going to put it in the passenger floorboard, so normal.
Yeah, it happens. I see it all the time, putting 3,000 watts. And it's like, you got a 80 amp alternator on your vehicle, man.
It's fine.
There's going to be problems. There's going to be issues.
Be fine. It'll be fine. Really?
Wound with aluminum wire. Nice.
Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff.
All right, man.
Yeah. Is that you got another one?
Oh, let's see what I do have something.
I was going to rapid fire these.
All right. What I have? No, man, I covered it. That's it.
Shit. Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, damn. I cut that one short just so we could rapid fire it.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, we get that one all the time. We get these guys that come in with these old school giant amplifiers, and you're just like, no.
Yeah.
No. It is perfect for a 3,000 watt Boss amp because it's not 3,000 watts. It's 1,000 watts.
It's kind of like the Rockville thing when the K9 debacle happened. They're like, well, if you match our 3,000 watt subwoofer with our 3,000 watt amp, everything's going to be fine.
And they're right. It will. And honestly, to be fair, and I wasn't involved in any of that, thank God. But to be fair, that's fine. I mean, and that's what a lot of manufacturers do. Like Alpine is just as guilty as that as they are, because the Type R woofer or the R series or whatever it was says it's 1,000 watts. So if you would buy 2 of those in their 1,000 watt amp, it matched perfect. The problem you ran into is if you bought one of those in their 1,000 watt amp and you had one sub, it would not match perfect, and you would launch that thing into the stratosphere, and then they'd be like, I thought that matched. And you're like, I'm trying to be clean tonight, Bobby. I felt bad last week, so I thought I would, twist it a little bit.
Before we shut off, you just have to do it.
Yeah. It has to happen naturally. You can't just do it on command. I mean, it's just, it's like, I do it enough all day long. Big fan of The Witcher. Fuck. There you go. So, yeah, it's one of those things. We have a lot of those things. I love it. It was a good topic, man. Good job. Man, you're killing. I can't believe this is episode 6. Holy crap.
I know, man.
6 weeks of this. This is insane.
It's been like it's went by like 6 weeks.
Hope you guys. Oh, yeah, that's right. News. I gotta go look up news tonight. Oh my gosh.
Oh,
well,
Lord.
At least we have a lead story we get to open with, which is kicker. October, what day? 23rd?
23rd. Yep.
October 23rd, 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Oh, yeah. We're going to have lots of fun. If you guys don't know about that, make sure you go over to Derek's channel and watch it there. Or here's a better idea. Just follow 5-Star on any one of our social medias: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. We got a bunch of them. Ooh, I'm going to drop this here because Christmas is coming, right?
Yeah.
So we'll just say, and our best, what was that stupid movie or the series that everyone hated the ending for? Cersei the bitch.
Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones. Winter is coming. Christmas is coming. That's gonna be great for you guys. Oh my gosh, we are working on some Christmas stuff.
Ooh. Oh, it's going to be a 5-star Christmas.
It is going to be a 5-star Christmas. Well, here's the thought. And this is you guys are the only guys that are going to know about this, so don't tell anybody else. 2020, I know some of you guys haven't figured this out, has pretty much sucked, right? I mean, maybe. Some of you guys are having a great year. It's cool. The majority of us aren't. We're just kind of like, this blows chunks out our ass. In our mouth. It's like explosive and upset. I had bad Mexican food, and also I top that with Indian food. So, yay, party. So our thought was, we're going to make Christmas, the month of Christmas, and we're going to just freaking knock it out of the park. We're working with a ton of manufacturers, and we are going to we're going to do our 12 days of Christmas. And you guys, like I said, you guys are the only guys that know about this. We're not telling anybody. And if you ask me, I'm going to pull a Kip on this and say, I have no idea what you're talking about. I have no idea.
The other guy that said it.
Yeah, wasn't me. I don't care if we have evidence or not. I didn't say it. But we are working on right now, and we have to start now because everyone in this industry is, if you haven't figured out, slow as hell. So we're working on it right now, and we're going to, oh my gosh, dude. If this comes together the way we want it to, it's going to be awesome. We are going to just, and of course you could win. So we're working on it. It won't be the standard 12 days of Christmas crap that we normally do, where we used to have fun. This is going to be giveaways. We're just going to we're going to be singing the 12 days of Christmas, and it's going to be freaking awesome. So you guys know, and I'm not going to talk about it again until sometime in November. And I had to get it off my chest because we've literally been busting our ass on this all week. And it's like, man, so
it's going to be like Hanukkah. 5-star.
It'll be like, I think it's going to start like the first day of Hanukkah.
There you go. It's perfect.
I think it actually starts, because we were looking at the calendar and we're like, yeah, I think it's going to start the first day of Hanukkah.
You totally got to have a menorah there when you start it.
No, I don't. Because I'm going to spend enough money on shipping. And we'll not have a Baby Yoda. No, not at all.
This guy.
No, I'll gladly give it away to somebody.
Killer.
Yeah,
oh, man, this thing's cute, dude.
No, he's not. No, he's smiling little green.
You're gonna watch season 2 of Mandalorian, though.
Of course, there's no chance I'm not gonna watch it.
You will grow to love them. You'll grow to love them. That's my hope. That's my wish and my dream.
Look, man, I don't do Starbucks, and the whole world does, and I still don't like pumpkin spice. All right, you know, It's like I've tried it, not Starbucks, but it's like right now you can try like freaking Dairy Queen has a pumpkin spice blizzard.
Yeah.
I'm like, I guess this is the closest I'm gonna get. Well, this really sucks.
Pumpkin spice, no.
This is so nasty. And Dunkin' Donuts has pumpkin spice donuts, and I was like, let's try those. Krispy Kreme had them. I was like, let's give those a try. I want to see what all these girls are all excited about. Pumpkin spice sucks.
Yeah, pumpkin
so does Baby Yoda. Sucks.
No, we can end on pumpkin spice sucks.
Okay, pumpkin spice sucks. Make everything taste like French fries, and I think we'll be okay.
Yeah, there we go.
Let's be honest. Is there a more perfect food? I mean, it'll cause a heart attack and pleasure at the same time. I mean, joy.
Yeah, might as well go out the way you want to go out.
So my doctor goes to me, what are your favorite foods? I go, cheese pizza, chicken wings, French fries, and ice cream. He goes, we need to work on that. I was like, okay. So I haven't had a chicken wing now in probably a year.
Oh, dude, you don't even bake them?
I just don't do chicken wings. It's one of those things when I have to quit something. Like I quit red meat like 5-6 years ago, and it was literally like I said, it was one of those moments where I said, I'm over this shit. And unfortunately, my mother-in-law was there, and she heard me say it. And we were having steak that night, and it was like, I mean, salad. Yeah. And just because on principle alone, I have not had red meat since that day, and I will not have red meat because I set the precedence for it. And it's like, nope.
Yeah. And your mother-in-law will never forgive you.
Nope. Won't ever do it. I don't care how juicy the hamburger looks, and I'm just going, oh my God. No, I'm not. Turkey burger all day long.
Oh man. That's sad. I'm sad for you, man.
I'm not. Honestly, I mean, do you think you have all this energy and
Yeah.
I mean, we'll talk about lunches on another day's show because I guess we got to wrap this up. All right, I've promoted myself. What do you got going on?
All right, man. I've got stuff back here. You can see the camera set up.
Yep.
I've been working on things all day. I'm not going to talk about that yet, but I'm doing a 12-inch subwoofer shootout. Budget subs under $150 each.
Wow.
It'll be coming up. I'm going to try to do it in 2 videos, I hope. I don't want to do more than 2, but next week you guys will see something. And outside of that, do
3 or 4, man. Slow it down. Give more information.
I don't know, man. I just got to get it out. I got to get it off the plate.
No. So you do it. You break it in a bunch of videos, and then you combine it in the end, and you have another video that brings all the parts together. Then you release that in like a weekend and say, "Hey, you're bored this weekend? Here's all of them together."
I done that before.
It works great.
It was a lot of work, man. I still eat red meat. I'm eating red meat.
Oh my God. I love it. All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. You know where to find us. We'll be back here again next Thursday. Same bat time.
Same bat channel.
Have a wonderful week, guys.